All right, guys, welcome back. I am Ryan Hagee.
I'm Mac Xavier.
This is Touchdowns and Tough Crowds. Before we start this week, I just wanted to talk about how dead on I was about the Bills and Cardinals game last week and how the Bills were going to dominate the whole game, I thought, and the Cardinals somehow squeaked out. That was the craziest thing I have ever seen.
Incredible, though.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts. But, all right, we're going to get into power rankings here first. My number one, I have the Chiefs still. They had a bye week. There's nothing we can say to take them off the number one spot. The Steelers did play well, and obviously they're my number two but they didn't do enough to, leapfrog over the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So they played the Bengals, and they smacked them as they should have. So the Chiefs number one, same reason as last week. Patrick Mahomes is kind of an undeniable force, but I think that defense, in the end of the day, is gonna cause some problems for the Chiefs.
That's their worst part of the team, but that's not a bad part of their team.
Disagree.
But yeah, I mean, I'll tell you why later. Oh, so you're good there with the Chiefs at one.
Yeah, what's yours?
So I have the Steelers. No, I'm just kidding. I still got the Chiefs at one as well. I'm not putting the Steelers one. Only reason I disagree with you with the defense. I mean, yeah, it's the worst part of their team, but you're saying that because they have Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, well,
right?
I said this last week too, and just because their offense is really good doesn't mean I look at their defense and think that's a really bad group. I look at their defense and compare it to Baltimore's defense or New England's defense or the Steelers' defense, and I say that's a bad
Take
group.
a guess where they are. Their passing defense. Take a guess where they
Probably not that low because their offense is so good.
I know, but just passing yards allowed. What do you think?
Probably top 10.
Top 10. They've only allowed 39 more yards than the Steelers have. Passing. Which
The
is...
Steelers' passing defense isn't good.
It's better than the rushing defense.
We played Derrick Henry and
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, so we had a tough go at it. But you're right.
Still, though,
I think they're going to have good numbers. I'm not a big guy who follows statistics. I follow the personnel of a team. If I had to put my money on a personnel of a defense to win a game, and it's down to the Steelers.
I'm
Chiefs,
not putting my money on the Chiefs
defense.
defense.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm putting it on their offense, not their defense. Yeah,
exactly.
okay, that's fair.
I'm
just looking at their past games, though, right?
Yeah, and what, dude? Who are they playing? What's the big games?
They lost. The Raiders was their big loss. They played,
and they got passed on like crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Actually, they got run down like crazy too because their linebacking core stinks.
Yep.
Anthony Hitchens is their number one backer, and he's wicked old now and slow. And Chris Jones is really good. Their D lineman, but they have that edge rusher Frank Clark. But have you heard his name at all this year?
No, not at all.
No, I'm saying. All right, my two's the Steelers. We don't lose. I don't know. We are really good. We're really good this year. I'm really
Defense
excited.
is really good.
Ben threw 4 touchdowns and 330 yards passing.
This is the first time he's had an outstanding performance all year.
He didn't lose to the Patriots, so. But I don't know. I just think that we are a well-oiled machine on offense. We just have weapons galore on offense as far as wide receivers go, and a good tight end. Eric Ebron's pretty good. Our running back's suspect, but we put up enough points where our defense just has to do its job in the fourth quarter, and we win. That's legit how it's gone every week. I mean, with the Bengals, we just got the coast, but Ravens, Titans, Cowboys, the games that we make close, our defense just has to, do its job at the end of the day, and it doesn't even need to be spectacular. It just needs to be one of the better ones, and that's what's surprising to me. I thought that defense was going to carry us, but Ben's been playing good enough.
So I've got the Steelers second as well, of course.
Yeah.
And I think people don't realize what a signing this was with Avery Williams.
He didn't even play last game.
I know. With it, how well do you think Avery Williamson's doing right now? Because he was on the Jets before, so no one talks about him.
I think he's pretty, as far as him, as a person, I think
He's first in the league in combined tackles and solo tackles.
He hasn't played for 2 weeks too.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
He
based on NFL.com,
Huh.
he's first in the league. That's insane to me. And you guys just picked that up on top of your already fourth passing yards allowed, second running yards allowed.
Yeah, I think he just played. I think he just played special teams for us.
Really?
I think Tom was he's gonna see some physical reps, but he's not really gonna see the field. But because dude, this number 41, Spillane, for us, who's filled in since Devin Bush has gone out, phenomenal, literally phenomenal. And I think Avery Williamson can probably be a tackle machine, but we already have one, Vince Williams. We don't need another run stuffer. We need a guy who's kind of faster,
Mobile.
leaner, because Vince Williams, he's number 1 in the league in tackles for loss. Him and T.J. Watt, sorry. But I'm sure it's great to have on special teams. He's just not a quick guy, you know? If he gets on third down.
That's fair. No, he's a run stuffer.
He's a thumper.
Hands down, yeah.
He's a thumper. But, like, our secondary, like, on third downs, we legit run dollar. We have, like, 5 safeties on the field, like, 3 DBs, like, and then just pass rushers. Because we have this kid, Marcus Allen, who went to Penn State. He's a safety. But he just plays basically dime back. And you just play dime backer, I mean. And he plays in the middle of the field where Devin Bush would play in our third and long defense, you know what I'm saying? Like, so if we're in a situation where it's like pass, we have all DBs, no linebackers. So I just don't know where Avery Williamson fits in because
into your defense?
Yeah. I think our first and second down linebacker is pretty solidified with Spillane just because of how he's played until he starts, you know, maybe stinking. Because it could happen, right?
I just think that's, if you only are playing him special teams and on physical reps, that's a waste of talent right there.
I think it's a great player in a position, like, our special teams can only benefit from that.
Well, yeah, that's true, but you don't want him on just your special teams.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care. If we have guys that are doing the job already, then what's the point?
Because he might be able to do it better on a better defense now, right? He was on a terrible defense before.
You know what? If he does, he does. If he doesn't, he doesn't. Our defense will do good either way, I think.
That's fair. Okay.
So I have no reason to complain. Avery Williams might be like, why did I go to the Steelers? Even to win a Super Bowl, but might not get the personal stats that he wants. I don't know. I just thought that he came over for a 5th-round pick for depth because our linebacker room is very narrow right now.
No, he's doing well.
Yeah. All right. 3, I got the Saints.
Okay.
I actually didn't watch them this much that weekend, but I just can't put the Buccaneers ahead of them yet. The Buccaneers played well against the Panthers. Tom Brady came back as I thought he would. Like, that game that he had last week against the Saints was horrible, but
he came back and destroyed the Panthers, but it's Panthers.
They were 3-7, so.
Yeah.
But, you know, he did what he had to do. He literally did what he had to do. All of his wide receivers touched the ball. Everybody ate, so. Yeah, they're higher, but they're not ahead of the Saints yet. No. The Saints are still, even without Michael Thomas, dude, like Alvin Kamara, what do you have, 3 total touchdowns? He only had 15 yards rushing, and he's still.
Well, that's because they passed him so much.
Yeah, like he's just the best threat in football, I think. Like legit the best offensive weapon in football.
If they ran with him more, yeah. Because he doesn't run a lot.
I think
right now they literally just.
He's still top 5 in rushing.
The funny thing is when Michael Thomas was in here, he was using him like Michael Thomas.
Exactly, like that's why like he's such a great weapon. Like that's why I can't take the Saints out of the conversation. And they have the head coach, they have the ownership. You know, they've got kind of like top to bottom. You know, franchises like that just win. As far as like the position they're in, they have a Hall of Fame quarterback, veteran, good ownership, pretty good head coach. I don't really like Sean Payton, you know, but you know like. Same thing with the Chiefs, Steelers. They're, you know, the Patriots when they had Tom Brady. Well, I guess you could say that about the Buccaneers now, but I think Bruce Arians is a bit of a slouch.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of him.
So, but yeah, that's my 3. Same reasons as last week. You know, if Michael Thomas is healthy, he didn't really play well this week, but he's still, like, that guy's good for a huge game whenever you want it. He's like a Devontae Adams or Julio Jones. Like, that's just elite wide receiver production, and the offense is just going to get rolling when it needs to at the end of the season, and they'll win. And I think they're probably going to be the 1 seed in the NFC, if not the Packers. So.
Speaking of Packers,
oh, God.
That's my number 3. I got the Packers number 3 because their defense isn't incredible. But when it comes down to it, right now their defense is middle of the pack. It's like 15th, 16th, which is honestly, if you have a good enough offense, that's what you need. Right, because that Packers team, you've Aaron Rodgers, and keep in mind this is Monday, so this isn't the Tuesday game in which Monday game. I'm sorry, I don't know why I said Tuesday. They play tonight, so we're recording before.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do. They play tonight.
The Bears and the Vikings played tonight. Aaron Rodgers already played. Yep, played on Sunday.
Who did they play? Why did I? Oh, you know what? Was I looking? I think
played
I was
the Jaguars. Keelan Cole had that big punt return touchdown. And Devontae Adams went off and all that. Really happened yesterday. They were at the 1 o'clock game. But I agree with you. The Packers' run defense is really bad, and I think they can put up points and win like regular season games. I just think that there's an elite group of teams in the NFL, and they're not one of them. I think they're actually top, like, you know, like they're top 5 for me, but they're just not going to break the elite boundary.
I think they're third because there's no other than the Chiefs and the Steelers. I don't think there's like a super There's no team that's been like, wow, this is the team that'll make it
Yeah.
far in the playoffs.
It's weird. It's like never. Usually there's like
usually there's like
teams.
5, and now it's like there's 2 right now,
Yeah.
and then it's just like, okay, who's doing well?
Yeah.
Who's like playing well? And I think it's the Packers. Cause,
Yeah, like I said, no one's like playing outstanding football instead of the Chiefs and the Steelers. You know, like dominant football, I should say. They play inconsistently well. You know, like they have drop games, like the Ravens dropped against against the Patriots, or the Packers dropped against who was it?
Bears.
Buccaneers. I don't know who else. I don't know what their
they
other loss
lost to
was.
Bears and Buccaneers.
But they got
pretty badly.
murdered by the Buccaneers. Murdered. And then the Buccaneers dropped a huge one to the Saints twice now. So, you know, and then they're my 4, Buccaneers. They're my 4, just because Tom Brady. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You can never rule that guy out. With him, it's just this indescribable factor that when it gets to be late in the season, or he's just unbelievable, dude. I can't even explain it. You know, you just can't rule him out. And he's got all these weapons, and their defense plays pretty well when it has to, although they let up a good amount of points to the Panthers. But Teddy Bridgewater, like we talked about him last week,
Yeah.
he's no slouch. So,
By the way, everyone else talking shit about DJ Moore.
yeah.
And I mentioned how he's no slouch, and then he played out of his mind. They
Well,
still lost.
He
but
did.
was
He
a-
played out of his mind in the first half. In the second half, he did nothing because they were down by so much and the game was over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But still,
He had a
like
good
when the
game.
game counted, this wasn't garbage time. When
Yeah.
the game counted, he played well, and I called it. So I'm just saying that now.
Yeah, you're right. That was pretty funny when I saw him catch those balls. I was like, oh my god. I'm a big DJ Moore, like not that
Well,
good.
what'd you call him? A bust? Yeah, I think that was.
He's
the
not
right
a
way.
bust. He's like a. He's
That's
like
not
a-
what you said last time.
Yeah, I know, but I corrected myself last episode too. I was like, he's like a good number 2 guy. Like he's not like round 1.
No,
You drafted a wide receiver in the first round to be a superstar.
it's DK Metcalf.
Like he was a second rounder.
Yeah, I know, but like they should have been first. That's a first. That's a potential wise and skill wise. That's a first round.
Yeah. Well, he was hurt a lot in college. Who's your 4?
My 4 is the Seahawks. I still have the Seahawks up there because, and I know they've taken recently a couple bad losses.
That one to the Rams this weekend was bad.
Yeah, that was bad. But what did we say? It was going to be an air game only. And when it
No,
comes down
remember
to
what I said?
what?
It was going to be like a low-scoring game, for
air
them,
game,
and it was
yeah.
23-16.
And that's exactly what it ended
because
up
it
being.
was ugly.
It
I
was.
knew it was going to. You
And
know what?
When
I
it comes
call
down
some
to it,
stuff,
the
man.
Rams have a better defense than Seattle.
Way
I don't
better.
think the Seattle receivers played incredibly that game. I don't think Russell Wilson played incredibly.
Jalen Ramsey.
That's when I look at that game though. That's not him playing as Russ. That's like just a poor performance on his part.
You want to know what?
And I think he plays significantly better than that, which is why I still have him at 4. Or yeah, at 4.
You want to know something crazy?
Go for it.
Over the past 4 or 3 games, Russell Wilson's turned the ball over 10 times.
Turned it over 10 times.
It's the most in the NFL. 7 interceptions and 3 fumbles. And they not fumbles just lost, but like they weren't recovered by the team, so they were recovered by the defense. Is what I'm trying to say. So he has turned the ball over 10 times in the past 3 games. Hopefully 4, because 3
is really
10
bad.
turnovers, 7 interceptions.
7 interceptions in
More than
in 3 or 4 games.
Ben Roethlisberger. That's more than Lamar
Well, in the last
Jackson.
3 games, yeah, but total, he's
No.
not the worst.
Total. No, I meant like total more interceptions than Ben's thrown. Just those
yeah.
7, not counting the 2 he threw before then too.
Oh yeah, I know.
So I think he's out of the MVP race.
Oh, I think he's out of the MVP race as
Just
well.
because of
but-
the past 3 games. And I think it's actually going to be Mahomes running away with it again.
Yeah, right now that's what it's looking like.
Legit,
That's
like-
and more so than last year.
Yeah.
More so than last year. It looks like Mahomes is gonna like. Right before last year was
Well, he didn't
Lamar,
win it,
Russ, and Pat, and
Yeah.
Lamar ended up winning it. This year it's like Pat, and that's it.
Kyler.
And Kyler.
Kyler.
But Kyler's still like Pat's here, Kyler's here.
Exactly.
Right. It's still.
I agree. But yeah, Russell Wilson, that 10 turnovers in 4 games or 3, whatever it might be, I can't remember. I saw it earlier today. That is like just ridiculous for me. That is, you can't put that and have a horrible defense at the same time. You can't win football games that
Yeah.
way, you know, especially against these 2 good opponents that he just faced. First the Bills and now the Rams. And that's what the Cardinals were the game before that. Like what the
Yeah.
heck, man, you know? All right.
Briefly. I wrote this down earlier. This only reinforces the fact that Pat is like way ahead for the MVP race. Second in QB rating, behind only Aaron Rodgers, surprisingly.
Yeah,
Aaron
right.
Rodgers is 117, he's 116. And he has thrown 1 pick all season, which is
Yeah.
the least amongst any starting QB.
Super impressive.
Super crazy. Anyway, enough of the Chiefs again.
It's hard
5.
not to. Packers, I'd put them there. I don't think there's anybody. It's just, you're right. Their offense is really, really good. You know, Jones, Adams, and even Valdez-Scantling is really good. They're kind of like the Steelers in a way.
Really, Valdez-Scantling is first in 40-yard receptions. In 40-plus yard receptions. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is like, okay, Devontae Adams isn't open, 50 yards.
Someone should pick him up in fantasy. That should almost be like a breakout player kind of guy.
Just gonna.
I just never even really thought of him, you know? But anyways.
Well, that's because, like, he's a boom or bust player, right? Yeah. He's either getting 15 or he's getting 3.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, it's just Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Famer. The NFL is so 2 teams, maybe 3, and then the rest is just people who are playing well right now.
Aaron Rodgers he's definitely, like...
Actually, he's in the MVP race, too.
I was going to say, it's going to be Pat, Kyler, Aaron Rodgers.
No, I think Aaron might be above Kyler because he doesn't throw as many interceptions.
That's true. That's true. He's doing
unless he's playing
the
Buccaneers.
He's I think it's like, yeah, unless he's third in interceptions thrown, like least.
Yeah.
He's second in total thrown TDs, only behind, Pat Mahomes himself. Or no, it's Russ. It's Russ, Aaron Rodgers, then Pat.
Yeah, because I knew Russ.
Because Russ is throwing a crazy amount, and he's 6th in passing.
Well, Aaron Rodgers also throws the ball like 60 times a game. Yeah. He's like Phillip Rivers, but without the interceptions.
He's Phillip Rivers, but not bad.
Exactly.
Anyway,
but yeah, I think they have a chance. Their secondary is good. They just aren't a really like tough football team, and you need to be tough in January. You have to be like really tough to win a Super Bowl. I think
if their defense can pull it together, because it's not like they don't have the talent.
Clay Matthews and Charles Woodson, that defense.
At one point, yeah.
That defense when they won the Super Bowl.
That was
tough team.
Yeah.
Jordy Nelson, tough wide receiver. I think Devontae Adams is super tough.
Oh yeah, he is. Same with Aaron Jones.
I don't know if Aaron Jones is really tough. I think he's a finesse runner. That's the thing.
I still think he's tough.
I think he's good, but
I think he's pretty strong.
Yeah.
They also don't have prime time Jimmy Graham when he was.
Oh, prime Jimmy Graham.
Yeah.
Well, prime Jimmy Graham was on the Saints, not on the Packers.
But that was like just like. Saints at his prime and then like slowly.
No, he went down quick with the Packers. He wasn't very good.
Well, yeah,
they
took like
they went
3
like
or
6
4
and 10
years.
one of those years.
But like bad. Still,
I think he went to the Seahawks then too. And it was
who was it? It was Richard Rodgers on their Super Bowl team?
No,
he was just after, right?
Yeah, I don't remember who their tight end was that year. I don't think it was anyone really phenomenal. I can't remember. I would remember.
Yeah, I would have remembered if not.
Yeah, 2010.
My 5. So we basically swapped here. I have the Saints at 5. I have the Saints at 5.
Yeah, you're 3 and my 5 swap.
Yeah. Just because I don't have confidence in that offense against a good defense.
What about the Packers offense against a good defense?
I think they'll play better.
Really?
I think that the Packers offense against a tough defense.
You want to know why I think the Saints would do better against a good defense?
Go for it.
I think they're better managed. I think they have a better quarterback in Green Bay, obviously. But I think the play calling and how dynamic the Saints offense with Taysom Hill and all the things they can throw you. And that kid from Assumption University, by the way. He's really good. Deontay Harris. Did you know about him?
No.
He went to Assumption, legit in Worcester. D2.
Yeah, no, I'm hearing you. So what?
And he's a punt returner for them, and he does these gadget plays, super electric, almost like a Ray McLeod for the Steelers. Someone who does the end arounds. Tyreek Hill or Mecole Hardman. Pick your point.
Yeah.
Debo Samuel.
Yeah.
But he runs a 4.3 or something like that. And Worcester guy. So I just want to mention him. I don't know. That got me really
because
excited.
he's from Worcester.
Yeah, but that's why I think the Saints would beat a good defense rather than the Packers. Because I think the Packers would fold, whereas I think the Saints would rise to the challenge because they're a tough football team, and they're smart and they're balanced and they can kind of attack you in any way because they have a better running game, a better running back.
I just think if you're a defense, if you're even a decent defense and you look at the Saints, and you're like, okay, it's easier to shut down their best targets, not shut down their best targets.
You can't shut down the best. Kamara.
Shut down their what they want to do.
Yeah,
it's harder to shut down what Aaron Rodgers wants to do.
Look at the Buccaneers tape.
Yeah,
that's what. Just get ahead early, make them uncomfortable, get to them, rush them. Just make it so it's not easy, and they'll start leaning back, and they'll start kind of just giving up. You can see it. There's fight in the Saints. I think. I don't think there's a lot of fight in the Packers.
I would beg to disagree, but
all they do is blow out bad teams, lose to teams that are better than them. That's all they do.
I think they weren't ready for those weeks. I think that if they made the preparation,
those are the games you have to be ready for. If you made the
preparation, they went in with overconfidence because they had blown up a bunch of bad teams. You're right.
Exactly, and that's just stupid. Because you know what? As much as the Steelers don't blow out bad teams, we come ready for every game. We might be a little flat in the beginning.
Way too close every single game.
But that's fine. But we're still win them. The Packers walk into every game thinking that they're the best team in the world. There's a sense of humbleness to the Steelers, or to the, actually maybe not to the Chiefs, but to the Ravens or to the Patriots. Like, they're like, this is an opponent that has a chance of beating us. They're in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers walks into every game, discount double check. I have all this money from State Farm, and he thinks he's gonna blow out everybody. And then he gets smacked in the lips, and he's like, back nine, just waiting for the game to be over.
But that offense is like rarely held to low points. It's that their defense isn't holding other teams to low points. Right, it's that their defense.
I agree. I just think if you look at the game against the 49ers last year in the playoffs or in the regular season, when they got smacked in the teeth, they just weren't better. Aaron Rodgers gave up. Like, if you got ahead early, Aaron Rodgers would be like almost like Antonio Brown with the Steelers. Like, he doesn't see the ball early, he's pissed. You know, he's out for the game pretty much. He's just checked out. And you saw it against the Buccaneers this year. I didn't think I was going to see it again, because against the 49ers last year twice, that was embarrassing. You know, for me. All right, just some honorable mentions for our power rankings, because we're not going to do 10 this week. We talked way too long. Bills Cardinals for me. I didn't really have
Bills Cardinals as well. Agreed.
That game could have gone either way.
Yeah, and that was a super tight game, and it was really well played by both teams.
I think the Bills had it in hand. I think they're the better team, but I think the Cardinals just had a super star factor in the end zone there, obviously. And then the Ravens didn't make it to my top 10 or top 5.
I had them at 7.
Yeah. Oh my God, 8 for me. So, all right. Yep, that's it for Power Rank this week. We're gonna move into current events and sports next. All right. Next up, folks, we're gonna get rolling into current events. I'll start it off. There's a lot going on with the NBA right now, and I'm wicked excited because that's going to be back
A lot
soon.
of moves, yeah.
It's just like getting set up, because I think trades start today, and then the draft is Wednesday, and then free agency starts this Friday. So I am pumped. The biggest storyline, I think, in all of it is James Harden going to the Nets. Possibly. It's not 100% yet, but he said he's wicked intrigued by it, and that means they might unload Russell Westbrook and James Harden.
Well, yeah, because Russell Westbrook was saying he wanted to be like a floor general again.
Well, yeah,
or court general. Yeah,
he could, like, him going to Houston in the first place was me. I was like,
I mean, it gave them the star ability, but not
I just
the
knew that
compatibility.
him and James Harden weren't gonna. And it's so weird because James Harden has just changed so much since he went to Houston, because he's that guy who needs to touch the ball like 50 times a game. Yeah, which is ridiculous.
And not just for himself, just because like that's if he touches it 50 times a game, he gets like close to 50 points.
Yeah, I don't love him.
But he's good.
He's good, don't get me wrong. I just think if you shoot 60 times a game, I'd score 20. You know?
I'd score 1.
I wouldn't score 20, that's an overstatement, probably like 5, but
well, if you're against people our age, not against the NBA.
No, I was talking about the NBA. No, like just 20 shots. Like
I was like, in that case, I don't score. I was like, no, I don't.
Like, the guy like legit shoots like 40 times a game.
Yeah, I know.
It's nuts. Like, I just think he's a little. Whatever. If he goes to Brooklyn though, and they kind of get something going like they did in OKC with Kyrie, KD, and him.
That's pretty good.
That's like the best.
Well, KD and him used to play together ages ago on the Thunder.
And so did Russell Westbrook. They all played together.
Yeah,
in OKC.
And it was phenomenal.
So imagine replacing Russell Westbrook with Kyrie Irving, who I think is better.
I think he'd fit that scheme better because he's definitely a much more pass oriented.
They'd be like the Packers of the NBA. Not to tie it back to the Packers, but
going back to the Packers. Aaron Rodgers.
They'd be wicked soft.
Kyrie equals Aaron Rodgers.
They'd be
heard
wicked,
it here first.
They'd be wicked soft.
No, they would. You're right. They'd be soft.
Because none of them are like. KD, I think, is like the best scorer I've ever seen. Scorer of the basketball, not the best basketball ever, but like unguardable, like Shaq or like Kareem. You know, like how do you stop him?
And he's faster.
Yeah, and he's as tall as them, and he can shoot better. It's just ridiculous. But that's the only thing that really scares me about that team is KD, because he could bring any team to a championship really if he's healthy the whole year. But will he be?
Yeah. Same
thing with Kyrie. Will he be healthy all year? As soon as KD was out for the season last year, he was like, I'm gonna take 40 games off. Kyrie was like, I don't wanna. Yeah. Harden will probably play the whole time. I think he's pretty.
When Harden gets injured, he isn't injured for long.
No, I think he's pretty.
He gets
gritty.
back pretty fast.
I just don't think he's like a. If he's the main character in the team, he's not winning a championship. He's not that guy. I think he's like a Pippen.
Really? I was gonna say he's like a slightly more advanced Klay Thompson.
Clay Thompson.
Yeah.
Yeah, number 2 guy. I wasn't saying he plays like Scottie Pippen.
No, yeah.
I was just saying he's a number 2
that
guy.
role. Yeah.
He's not gonna.
I just think he's
KD's Jordan, like, you know.
in that scenario.
Right.
Yeah, hands down.
Like KD is a Jordan, LeBron's a Jordan, Kawhi is a Jordan. Those guys can win championships by themselves.
Oh,
Jason
yeah.
Tatum is a Jordan.
No. Wait a minute.
Not yet, but I love him.
I love the Celtics, but no.
But yeah, that's my biggest thing. If Brooklyn gets him, they probably get the East, unless Miami gets a superstar. If Miami got Russell Westbrook, which I don't think is going to happen,
yeah.
because I don't know
But
they need a superstar in the offseason.
They do.
Rudy Gobert's on the trade block, like stuff like that. There's a lot that can happen.
Rudy Gobert is a huge pickup for anybody.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to it,
I would love it. I would love it so
that
much.
would be phenomenal.
Yeah. And then you know, I talked about the draft being on Wednesday for the NBA. That's my next kind of
Dennis Schroeder might also
go
be
to the
swapping
Lakers.
teams. Yeah.
I think that's pretty much set in
That's
stone.
almost set in stone as well. Which
But they're
is,
giving up a first rounder and Danny Green for him.
I think it's a little much for him.
I think that's a win.
Really?
Because he's a new point guard. And they don't really have one except for Rondo. And is Rondo.
And Rondo's about to retire soon. I still think it's I would have just given up the first rounder.
Yeah, I don't think they've taken it. Danny Green's, they didn't need the shooter. And because they gave up Chris Paul, too. Chris Paul just went to the, I just saw it a second ago, actually. I can't remember.
Wasn't the Suns, was it?
Yeah,
No.
Suns, correct.
Was it? I was like, I know it.
Him
The
and
Suns
Devin
lose.
Booker. Him and Devin Booker would be pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. But also, that's one of those things again where it was like D'Angelo Russell and Kyrie were on the same team. That just like
D'Angelo Russell and Kyrie.
no
Curry.
Curry. That's right. I was like, that doesn't. That
Well,
doesn't.
Curry got
feel-
hurt too, and it was.
Well, yeah, but like
I think
having
that's
them
gonna
both
be
on
awesome.
the court is.
I think
weird.
Chris Paul isn't Curry. Chris Paul is a
Well,
ball
no.
handler, floor general, and he'll get the ball where it needs to be. He's
No,
like
you're
a
right,
passer.
but like, yeah, you're right. And Devin Booker's definitely on the shooter side.
He's a 2. That's a 1. Perfect combo.
That's fair.
For me. But for the NBA draft, LaMelo Ball, I don't know. He's the number 1 pick. He's the number 1 pick of the draft.
Yeah, I know.
Not a doubt in my mind.
I'm just,
And then, James Wiseman. And I just think this draft is going to have a lot of studs. It feels really good to me.
I just feel like there's not a lot after those studs. Feels like a lot of.
Well, that's how every NBA draft
Well,
is.
no, I mean like
There's like
less
2
so.
guys. And
There's less so now though.
I don't know. I think there's more and more stars coming into the league because so many kids play basketball now.
Yeah.
Growing up, like, it's just.
And they start earlier now.
Yeah.
Right before they started like high school.
It just seems like you just find more guys.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about the draft. I think LaMelo Ball, I don't know. He has to go to the right team.
He does. No, he does.
So who has Memphis has the 2? I'm pretty sure because Golden State has 2. Who has 1? I think it might be Memphis. So Memphis with Ja Morant, they add another superstar.
That would be pretty good.
I think that's. I don't know if they have the 1 or 2 or 3. I don't really know the top picks that well. Actually, honestly, should look that up more. But I think if they get another stud, like a scoring threat, or because they already have the big man with what's his name, wicked athletic big man, Jaren Jackson. I think him and John Morant are wicked tough. I love the Memphis.
Oh,
Grizzlies.
they're very
gritty.
What's the word?
Like, they're
very
like
gritty.
They're like Sean Kemp and Gary Payton.
Yeah,
on
that's
the-
a
on
good
the Sonics.
comparison.
That's kind of like what I see with them because I think John Morant's already a star. You can just say
There's a
He's a
reason
star,
that they look at him and they're like, oh shit.
yeah. But that's what I got. I
He
think
came onto watching him play was like that guy's not a rookie.
yeah.
Right.
Well,
Watching
he
him
was
play.
just so athletic.
Yeah, I
and
know.
he's as skinny as me.
Yeah.
I'm a skinny guy. Like he's just a thin, but he can jump.
Tenacity of him.
Yeah,
is
it's like Russell
insane.
Westbrook. It's
Yeah.
like Russell Westbrook. Yeah. But yeah, that's what I got. I think the draft is going to bring a lot, and I think if Memphis gets that next score, they're a playoff team in the West because the West is kind of Lakers, Warriors with the number 2 overall pick.
Yeah.
Warriors have the number 2 overall
That's
pick.
a little crazy to me.
So they get James Wiseman. That's the best big man in the draft.
That
and
is
I
the
think
best pick in the draft.
if that happens, then we're screwed. But yeah, what do you got?
I've got Dustin Johnson winning the Masters.
20 under.
Oh yeah.
Best under par. Tied for it.
And I got Tiger getting like 12th, I think.
I was really excited for this year with Tiger because I thought maybe he would just.
Defending champion.
Well, I just thought he would come in and play, or not play, or hit better. I don't know what. Hit the green, but I don't know. I don't really know golf that well, but I just thought we'd see more out of Tiger.
Perform better.
Yeah.
That's the word.
But he was 10 over in his last day. He hit the water 3 times, and it was the 26 holes the day before. You can just see that he's old. So I don't know. We don't know golf that well, but we thought we'd Dustin Johnson.
Bring it up.
that kid's just the best in the game right now.
Well, he also won the PGA Tour, so
yeah. Well, it makes sense. He's young.
He's
just passing.
They were like, oh yeah, he's the number 1 golfer in the world right now,
Yeah.
and I was like, that doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
He golfs with Steph Curry all the time too. Steph Curry's like a huge golfer.
That doesn't. Well, yeah, I was just about to say he's a huge golfer. He loves
Yeah.
golfing. That
So-
doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I just sucks. I wanted to see Tiger do well again. I thought that was really.
I
cool
would have
last
loved to
year.
see Tiger.
When he won last year, I was totally.
That was awesome.
I was just blown away. I was like, this must be like the craziest thing we've seen in the past like 10 years in golf, probably. Actually, maybe him winning. No, that was further before.
Yeah,
so.
I was gonna say.
Him winning the first time.
Yeah, the first time was probably the last.
Or maybe his allegations might have been the biggest
Let's
thing in
not
golf.
talk- Yeah, moving on.
All right, we're gonna go to top plays next.
Agreed.
All right, guys. Next up, we got fantasy picks for you. This week, I've got Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. I want to sit them. They're playing Philly. Just that Philly game against the Giants really left a sour taste in my mouth.
Philly is such an unpredictable team to me, just because like
They
they
could-
perform well one week and garbage the next.
Hang
and it's
29 on the Steelers and only drop 16 or whatever on the
exactly.
Giants.
It's like
The Giants have been playing really good football. Actually,
they have their DBs are sneaky.
Their
good.
secondary,
Sneaky.
sneaky good. But the previous 4 or 8 times that they've played the Giants, they've won. The Giants haven't won against the Philadelphia Eagles in like 4 years.
I'm trying to think.
Sure.
Yeah,
Last time they won was 2016.
that sounds right.
So 4 years, 8 games. What was I gonna say? Oh, but yes, I think Philly's gonna come into this game like totally PO'd. And they're gonna go at the Browns, who can be a little kind of like Philly,
They can be like Philly.
and they can just drop the games that they need to win. They're 6-3. They have the same record as the Ravens.
I know they do. You don't
So,
need to remind me.
I'm just saying the Ravens are a good football team. You know, you're trying to compare, and the Browns are gonna come into this game, and they have a great running attack right now with Chubb back.
And Myles Garrett is playing out of his mind.
Yeah, I'm just trying to point out like Philly's defense, especially the front seven.
Oh, yeah.
Really good. Fletcher Cox, Brendan Graham. So I think they're going to attack the run.
Those two alone are just
Because if you watch like the Ravens game against the Browns or the Steelers game against the Browns, we stopped the run. Baker was like,
front seven.
what the hell?
Yeah.
Didn't know what to do. You know,
Because then he's not good when he has to pass.
Yeah.
Right. He's not a clutch.
Yeah, he's not like a quarterback that's going to go and win.
He recently got a game-winning touchdown this year, but like that's the first time I've ever.
Oh
seen
yeah,
that.
it was against the.
That's the only time I've ever seen that from him.
It was a really
not
good
that there's
throw.
not that there's a ton of data to basically pick from.
I think
he
it was
hasn't
against
been
the
in league super
Broncos.
long.
Can't remember.
I
Probably.
think so.
I think it's the Broncos.
Yeah, which is a mediocre team right
Yeah,
now.
but that was a great throw.
Oh, it was a great throw, but still.
Donovan Peoples-Jones in the back of the end zone. That was a toe tap too. Great catch. But yeah, I think we should sit them. Personal opinion, I don't think the Browns are going to be ready for this game because they just won 10-7 against the Texans.
Just barely against.
And the Steelers
against
just
one
barely.
of the worst defenses in the league.
Yeah, that's
one of the
where-
worst passing defenses. In the
That's
league.
where I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah,
Because the
scored 10.
Steelers, it was a close game. Don't get me wrong, but we scored our points.
Yeah,
You score your points against the
we
Texans.
score our points against.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But
It's never 10-7.
That was ridiculous. It's just one of those games. Maybe I don't know. I didn't really watch it. Maybe the weather was bad. Maybe it was windy. Who knows? It was really windy in Pittsburgh, and that Ohio's not far. It's like our cousin, right to the side. But yeah, and then other than that, I said start DeAndre Swift. This kid's just getting more touches each week, and he's getting.
And he's playing. I traded him away now, which I hate.
He's on my team actually.
Yeah, I know.
You
I
traded
saw.
to Connell.
Connell traded. Yeah, and guess who I got from it? Bell, which has done nothing for me.
Told you. But yeah, DeAndre Swift. Every week he's gotten more touches and he's gotten more fantasy points because of it. Like, I think he had in his first 10+ touch game he had like 10. Then he had 14. This week he had 22. And he's like in the receiving game too. He had a really cool hurdle. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, I did see that.
He's just a really good athlete. I loved him at Georgia. I think if he touches the ball more in that offense, he can do a lot because he's just a good athlete. And they haven't had a good back in years, and they're kind of just a desperate team. So they'll just feed whoever.
Well, yeah. At first, I didn't have confidence in him because it wasn't the first. Was it the second game they played? He dropped the game-winning touchdown.
I remember
the
that.
easiest pass.
I think that
in
might
the
have been
world,
the first
and
game they
dropped it.
played.
And like, I think just over the past couple games, he's also just built his own confidence while as being like a running back in the NFL.
Yeah, he has to be that guy for them too. It's kind of like with Le'Veon Bell too with the Steelers. The first year he played, he didn't really touch the ball that much. They kind of eased him into
Well,
it.
most running backs don't touch the ball a ton.
Unless you're like
J.K.
the first
Dobbins has been touching it a decent amount, but that's because they're intentionally using 3 running backs.
And you guys run the ball 80% of the game.
80% of the game.
So
Which is why Lamar is like one of the lowest for passing.
that's why. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. It's not that he's bad. It's just they don't pass a lot. So, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. He's not a bad thrower. They don't pass a lot.
Start start DeAndre Swift. I think that's probably
Start
that's like
DeAndre
a bench guy.
I would
So
I would
feel
say
like that's a pretty
at
good
minimum
take.
put him on your flex.
I'd start him over Nick Chubb this week. If you're me, if I'm the guy doing it, I'm gonna start
the
DeAndre
Lions
Swift.
playing.
I actually don't know. I just said start.
You just said start him.
Yeah,
Well, yes, he's been playing well. I don't think they play someone hard.
I actually don't know their schedule at all. Because who follows the Lions?
Yeah, I was like, who follows the Lions?
I don't know. Maybe Green Bay. If they played Green Bay, I'd be like,
Well, once again, that's not a solid defense.
Exactly.
Not a solid, but like,
yeah.
I'm checking right now. At least for my starts, I'm saying start Herbert and start Big Ben, because they both have Herbert's facing the Jets. I would start
the Jaguars.
I would start nearly anyone. They're playing the Panthers. The
Oh,
Lions are playing the Panthers, and like,
Well, the Panthers actually might be kind of pissed after last game.
but that defense still is.
Their front seven's bad,
No,
yeah.
their front seven's really bad. I start DeAndre Swift.
They're
there.
best, they have Brian Burns. They drafted him last year. I like him.
I'm still starting
Yeah.
DeAndre Swift.
You know who they have on defense too? The kid from Auburn, the D tackle. That they
Yeah,
drafted
yeah,
this
we talked
year.
about that before.
I love him. Whatever his Brown. His last name is Brown.
I think so.
Derek Brown, I think. Yeah, Derek.
Yeah,
Brown.
that was it.
He is so good. I don't think like people talk about him enough. I actually might talk about him at some point on this show because I
New
think,
breakout player. No.
not this week at least, but
Yeah.
he's just a space eater. I think he's just like Snacks Harrison, Damon Harrison, all those years. Like I think he's awesome.
Snacks.
I'm a big fan of him.
But
But yeah, Ben, I agree.
Ben and Herbert. I'm going to talk about Herbert first because that's what I have on my list first because I love Herbert and I don't like Ben. And plus, if you're playing the Jets, you start whoever that quarterback is. Unless
It's almost
they're
like starting the
garbage team.
defense that plays.
Yeah,
against
it's
the
just
Jets,
start.
It's like just pick up that defense.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you've Herbert, who came off of a tough loss last week, or this week, I should say,
Against the Dolphins, yeah.
against the Dolphins, and it was.
Oh man, I would definitely start Herbert.
Yeah, I'd start Herbert.
He's
He's
this
looking
might
for
be
he's looking for a redemption game. He's looking at the Jets defense hungry.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
And I see it in him because he's been playing okay. He's been playing. I think their
After
defense
his
has been
first couple
letting. I think
games, yeah.
that defense has been letting him down.
Well, his first couple games, he was like, "Who is this kid? Like, holy cow, he's
Yeah,
so good."
and
And
he's
then
been
he kind
playing
of just.
no, he didn't.
It's the trials and tribulations of a rookie,
yeah.
I think. Same
Right.
thing with Joe Burrow.
Oh yeah.
He started off like 300 a game, and then played some good teams. It kind of got harder. You can see it.
But you can see that those games are also helping them improve because they are
Exactly.
like, okay, I can't just like, I'm not playing
Dominate every week.
I can't. Oh man, dude.
But with Ben, I
Dude,
think.
why can't I just be Pat Mahomes every game?
But I think Ben. I don't know if I would start him.
Really, against the Jags?
Yeah,
Against the Jags.
I love Ben. We just played the Bengals, and Ben threw 330 yards and 4 touchdowns. I just think Ben doesn't do that twice in one year, back to back. I mean, I don't mean twice in 1 year. I mean, I don't think he does that back to back. Like,
So in that case, for me, well, I'm still gonna say start Ben. But if he does perform poorly, I think that drops the Steelers on my power ranking, just because you need to have a solid quarterback, and like.
I just think I think we're gonna
this
win.
this is the 4th worst passing defense in the league.
That's fine. Actually, yeah, he might do really
Yeah,
well.
I was like, if you don't do well against this
It just
passing
depends. Dude.
defense,
We might have a bad game plan.
Yeah, if the Jags play well and Pittsburgh
It's just
does
you know what?
poorly,
My big thing is every time a bad team plays the Steelers this year, it's their Super Bowl. Because they're like, let's take down the undefeated team. They're going to that game like, I don't care if we win any other game. Let's beat these guys. Same thing with the Cowboys. Cowboys went into that game. They were like, let's beat the Steelers. That's a big rivalry.
well, that's also the refs. Well, we won't talk about that game.
What, with
The
Cowboys?
refs, yeah, the refs made the worst calls in the world for you guys.
To give us the game?
Yeah,
I disagree.
no, not in the slightest.
It wasn't that bad at all.
It was pretty bad.
What happened that was so bad?
It's been a while. I haven't watched it,
Yeah,
but
it
we'll
wasn't
go
that
back
bad.
later. I'll show you because it was really bad.
It wasn't that bad.
It was really bad.
It would have been on Twitter if it was.
It
that
was.
Bad. It wasn't. On
Yes,
Twitter.
it was.
Anyways, yeah, I think we might put a dud up on Jacksonville because that's just one of those games for us.
Yeah.
Plus,
you guys should win this game.
We're in Jacksonville too, so
You guys still should win this against one of the worst passing defenses in the league, along with one of the worst rushing defenses in the league.
oh yeah, and they have Jake Luton starting. I don't know. Listen, it could get ugly, but yeah, we're gonna do breakout players for you next, guys. So. All right, next up we're gonna do breakout players. I got Stephon Tuitt for the Steelers.
Fair enough.
I tried to refrain from doing a Steelers player. I really did. I didn't want to do it, but I've just been seeing so much I love out of this kid. I was gonna do Chase Claypool honestly, but I guess I can't. He's not much of a breakout player. He's just a stud at this point, I guess. So, but he's got 6 sacks, which is I think 3rd on our team. But that's a team with Cameron Hayward, T.J. Watt. But
As a team with one of the highest sacks in the league right now.
Most sacks in the league. He's top 10 in quarterback pressure alongside Bud Dupree and T.J. Watt. He's top 10 in tackles for loss, just like T.J. Watt and Vince Williams. Like, I think there's just guys all over this defense that do it, but Stephon Tuitt, like, we'll run some tape, but he has just the strength and just this weird, like, sneaky speed at the line of scrimmage almost, where he can get by a D-line or offensive lineman really fast. And we drafted him, I think, in 2014, same year we drafted Le'Veon Bell, maybe 2013, maybe then. No, 2014, the year after, because we drafted the Ryan Shazier year.
Yeah.
So he was our second round out of Notre Dame, and he's had some injuries, and he's been behind Cam Hayward all this time, so people haven't really talked about him. So this is his first really full season, I think, and he is just blossoming into this beast. Because we could literally let Cam Hayward go, sign Tyson Alualu, and just let those two be our DNs, and we'd be fine. But that's another guy.
Definitely difference, but like, yeah.
Yeah, of course, because Cam Hayward's an all-pro. But Tyson Alualu is another guy who's just been playing phenomenal for us. I could say every name on that front line. But Stephon Tuitt has just been an absolute game changer in every single game. He stops the run better than almost any other D lineman in the NFL because he gets behind the line of scrimmage so fast. Like I said, you'll see it on the tape. But who's yours?
And I hate to admit this, I have Damon Harris, who just mucked the Ravens defense.
Alabama running backs.
Yeah, and I hate the running back system, and this is ironic considering the system that the Ravens have in terms of running the ball. But I don't think the Pats should be using 3 running backs. I really don't. I really disagree. I mean, and I think it's hard to figure out with that run game there because they have Sony Michel, they have Rex Burkhead, and they have Damon Harris. All of them are young, and they're all pretty good, but like you really got to figure out which one of those guys you want to start and just have be your dominant runner, right? Obviously, you have.
Well, I think Damon Harris was that guy last night.
He was, and they've used him. I think for the past like 5 games, they've only used him for 6 games now.
Yeah.
And the past 5, he's had the majority of runs, and
well, that's because they had Sonny Michel before.
3 or 4 of them, he's had over 100 yards because of it.
You have to remember they used a first-round pick on Sonny Michel.
They did.
So that's a pretty big deal.
They wanted to pay out, but like, if you got this kid Damon Harris and he's proving himself faster than Sonny Michel is, I'm putting Damon Harris.
Of course, yeah.
And he's the reason why he's my breakout player is because in 4 games where he's had at least 15 attempts, he gets over 100 yards.
Yeah.
Easily.
I think he's a really powerful runner. I don't know if he's like a tremendous... Like, you talk... Because they just run the ball, like, at you and at you and at you. Like, even if he only runs the ball 22 times as a team, I think they would have ran it 40 because Cam Newton, Rex Burkhead, James White. They ran it 40 times on you guys.
Yeah, I know.
On the Ravens. So, I do think he's really good. I just don't know if he's He's almost like Derrick Henry, but without the same speed.
Well, Derrick Henry's has a wicked, like, in terms of breakout speed versus initial speed. Derrick Henry's 0 to 60 is incredible, but his 60 to like 100 is horrible.
Well, no, because he gets 100-yard touchdowns all the time.
Yeah, but that's because he gets ahead and then he just stiff arms his way to victory.
Yeah, well, he actually outran everybody.
If you're comparing someone's 0 to 100, you look at Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say is he's a lot like he's a slower Derrick Henry.
Okay, that's fair. But like, I mean, it's hard to get a Derrick Henry or a Dalvin Cook or any.
But if you're going to compare
back.
anyone, you have to just compare to the top in the league.
That's true.
He's like I don't know. You remember Steven Jackson for the Falcons?
I do.
Or the Rams, I should say. He's like that.
Okay, I can see that.
Just like power.
I can see that.
He's not like going to juke you out of your shoes or anything like that. I think he's going to give you 20 hard carries. Like going to will you down to the bone of your defense.
And he'll fight for those yards.
Like Derrick Henry does.
Yeah. Okay.
But he had some really impressive runs against the Pats. You saw them, but
like Derrick Henry?
No.
I mean, Damon Harris had some good runs against the Ravens, not against the Pats. I was like, what?
Word vomit. Yeah, no, he really impressive.
He did. He had some. We also played bad defense that game, but he still earned every yard that he went for.
You guys tackled poorly, which you never do.
It's in the rain.
It must be, yeah, because it was really slippery. But he just ran through.
He also just ran through arm.
If that's the case, he would have slipped too. I think.
Yeah, no, that's true.
But he just slid right off of him.
Yeah,
because he's got those.
He made some really good
big thighs. That's perfect. That's what you
some
want on
meaty thighs.
Like Saquon. That's what you want to run.
Well, I mean, no one has thighs like Saquon or calves like Saquon. Yeah,
you'd be surprised.
But still,
maybe a D lineman.
Maybe a D lineman, exactly. But like, still, I think once you establish a quarterback for that team, who's a pocket passer and not Cam Newton. Once you get a quarterback on that team, I think Damon Harris.
Yeah,
because like he's young now. I think you just start Damon Harris.
Yeah.
And I think you throw in Sony Michel and you throw in Rex
Well, they'll
Burkhead as
trade Sonny
receiving
Michel,
backs.
knowing Bill Belichick.
Yeah, they'll trade.
But they're
Sony
never
Michel
going to
for
have a number
something
one
else.
back. As long as Bill Belichick's the head coach, they're going to have a stable.
I think he should have a number one back.
But
I think he
you
should
can-
be a dominant back, not necessarily a number one back.
I think every day should be filled with sunshine, but that's not how it's going to go. Bill Belichick, legit, like, since, what, he's taken over, have they ever had a number one guy? Ben Jarvis, Green Elvis?
No. Well, that's because they've had one of the most dominant quarterbacks in ever.
That's just their system, though. They had the best system quarterback in the league until 2007 when he got
you don't
Randy
have that
Moss.
quarterback. You don't have that quarterback anymore, so I think you need to change your system.
Yeah, well.
That system works when you have a...
And that's what they're going to do. They're going to get the next guy to fill that system.
Yeah, exactly.
And so when that system's back in place, they're going to go to the stable of running backs. Because they want to pass to them and do the trick plays and beat you in a weird, funky way. Because that's what they do. That's what they did to the Ravens. And they had Cam Newton at quarterback.
That
And
was also
you remember
very
when they
bad
had
display
that
of
one
defense.
guy, Jonas Gray, who ran for 4 touchdowns in the game, 200 yards, and
I
then
do remember.
got released the next day
Mm-hmm.
because he didn't show up to a team meeting.
Yep.
Patriots.
Patriots. Exactly.
That's all I can say. All right, next up, we're going to get Game of the Week for you
I
guys.
hate the Patriots.
All right, guys. Last up, we got our games of the week. This is our favorite segment. We love to kind of predict what we think is going to bring the most eyes. I did a phenomenal job last week with the Cardinals and the Bills. Is my pick, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was
I
my
think
pick.
the Colts Titan game was pretty good too.
It was.
I
Pretty
thought
good,
it was a
right?
good. It was a good game.
It was a good game.
And the Colts won. And
You know what?
I said that.
You said that it would be a big game for the
I
Colts.
said it would be a huge game for the Colts, and it is.
Yeah.
That puts them in front.
So we love this segment. We love to see how it works
Yeah.
out because we both want to have the better pick. Obviously, we're pretty competitive. But drop what you think one down below for game of the week. I think it was kind of obviously me. I'm not gonna lie. The Cardinals Bills game was a little bit better.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say the Colts Titan was an obvious game.
It wasn't an obvious game, but I think that it was just back and forth more in the Cardinals Bills. There was the comeback.
Oh well, yeah. I mean,
I just
it
meant
came down to the last 42 seconds for the Cardinals.
my point exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Regardless, my pick for this week for where America's eyes are going to be is the Rams Buccaneers game. That Rams win against the Seahawks was pretty huge for me. I thought that the Seahawks were going to come back from losing to the Bills.
Yeah. I was like Dolphins. What?
Yeah, I thought they were going
lose
to
to
come.
the Dolphins?
They're going to come back with a vengeance and hang like 30 on the Rams, but just goes to show
Well, we
that
talked about that earlier, and you said it was going to be a
close
air
game.
game close
yeah,
out.
I just thought that the Seahawks are going to win.
Okay.
I thought they were going to score more than 16. Is basically what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say.
Oh yeah.
But so I think the Rams are just kind of a lot better than people give them credit for.
Their defense is pretty good.
They have a really good system in place with McVay, so their offense is like a well-oiled machine. It's like Belichick. I don't want to say it is Belichick because
But-
no one's in that class, but I think it's similar with Jared Goff being a pretty mediocre quarterback rising to a higher level because he has such a good team around him. So many weapons, such a good offense, such a good O-line, such a good running game, plan. And then with the Buccaneers, I think, is Tom Brady going to do the same thing he did against the Panthers, against Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald? Or is he going to lay another egg like he did against the Saints with Cameron Jordan and Marshawn Lattimore?
Against a worse defense than
Yeah,
what
but
he's about
Marshawn
to play.
Lattimore locked up Mike Evans.
Oh, he did.
So is Jalen Ramsey.
But like Mike Evans also isn't getting a ton of receptions anyways right now.
scores touchdowns.
He does, but that's not the most used weapon on the team right now.
Yeah. I mean, what is?
Or I mean, you can just turn to Ronald Jones and let him run another 98-yard touchdown.
Yeah. But that's my big thing is, are the Buccaneers going to roll? Are they going to just roll through the end of the season now? Like I think they will. Or, like I predict they will because Tom Brady is Tom Brady. Or are the Rams going to keep showing that they mean business and that they're a
I
serious
mean, they have
contender?
to, or if they want to even come close to winning their division.
That's
they
my big
have to.
thing. I think that the Rams are kind of like playing for their life right now in this game because this is a hard stretch of games. Seahawks, Buccaneers.
Yeah.
That's some tough sledding, So, yeah, I think that'll be the game of the week for me. I think the game's gonna end up being Buccaneers 27, Rams 23, and I think we're still gonna have some faith in the Rams just because they're playing a better team than them. I think
For the Rams, they're almost playing every game, not desperate, but like
hungry dogs.
Yeah, well, they have to, right?
Yeah.
The Cardinals and the Seahawks. That's their competition in their division.
And listen, you can't count out the 49ers because that
I'm
division.
cutting out the 49ers.
I don't know. I don't. Like
I'm taking out the 49ers. 49ers. It goes, ready? It's like Seahawks, Cardinals, Rams,
49ers.
Disagree. Cardinals, Seahawks, Rams.
The point being, 49ers,
49ers
are here.
on the
I don't give a shit what the order is up top. 49ers are here. They're not in that division, basically.
All right, kind of true, but I feel bad. They should really be better, but they got hurt, and Jimmy G is.
Right?
Whatever.
Obviously, our division isn't as good, but it's like, Steelers, Ravens, Browns, Bengals.
Yeah, it's pretty similar actually.
Yeah.
The 1%
In that,
pretty similar.
Yeah.
Because they're all 6-3.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, that's my pick. I think the Rams are gonna lose close.
Close, but
Kind of similar to the Seahawks game because it's gonna be a nitty gritty game.
what do you think, like passing, rushing, on both sides?
I don't know. I think it's gonna be no tremendous numbers. I don't think anyone's
big
gonna,
numbers?
I don't think anyone's gonna hang.
No breakout players that
like
game?
300 and 300. I don't think it's gonna be that kind of game. I think it's gonna be like 220 for passing yards. Maybe a pick from Brady. Maybe two.
Maybe
Because
two, you
they're
think?
just really opportunistic on defense right now. And I think Aaron Donald doesn't get the quarterback.
You don't think he's the most sacks in the league right now?
That's fine. I don't think he gets Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady gets it out too quick.
Okay.
I just think that it's going to be that game where Aaron Donald doesn't.
I was gonna say they have a decent O line too.
He'll be disruptive, but I don't think he's going to get there. Yeah, Ryan Jensen at center. He's
Yeah.
wicked good. I like that kid with the long ginger hair.
Yeah, I know. Used to be on the
Badass.
Ravens. Used to.
Used to.
Used to.
Now your offensive line stinks.
Well,
Anyways,
yeah. I mean, when Ronnie Stanley breaks his leg, it's like.
and Marshall Yanda retires. So
And Marshall Yanda retires, and Orlando Brown's probably the best on that line right now, and he's not bad, but
He's not very
I wish he wasn't the best. I wish Ronnie Stanley and Marshall Yanda were back.
yeah. What's your pick? Yeah, that's mine. So Buccaneers over Rams, best game of the week. What's yours?
I've got, and I didn't choose the Titans Ravens, only because this game is easily going to be the hottest game this week, hands down, my opinion. But it's the Cardinals and the Seahawks.
The rematch.
The
really
re-
fast
rematch.
rematch too.
A rematch.
It's like 4 weeks later.
Yeah, exactly. The Seahawks just lost again.
3 games in a row now.
Three
right?
games in a row, and if
They
they,
can't keep going.
like if they lose again,
They're like,
not only does like Russell Wilson disappear off the MVP list, it's just that their playoff picture grows smaller and smaller. Especially if the Rams win against the Bucks.
if the Rams win, the Cardinals win. They're both 7-3, and then the Seahawks are 6-4.
That's
They're-
huge.
So they're out of the wild card too. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Which
that's
is-
huge.
Or they're the
That's
7th
insane.
seed.
You wouldn't
Imagine-
think the Seahawks
Could you
miss the
imagine if they end
playoffs.
up like the 7th seed or 6th seed? Because they're probably going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, they're probably going to be in the playoffs, but still, like
Yeah.
it's Seattle.
Seven seeds too. I think that's really peculiar.
But
this
we're
year.
also assuming that, like, I think Russell Wilson and the Seahawks come after this game and they're pissed right
Pissed
now.
off.
They're so pissed, and they want to win this game more than anything else in the world.
You know
And they
what I-
know it's going to be tough.
You know what I guarantee you? I
What?
guarantee you in the post game we're gonna hear DK Metcalf say Russell Wilson for MVP. Like he's like, let's get the train going again.
Yeah.
He's gonna like comment something like that. Be like, let's
Especially if
not
they
forget.
win.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah, no.
If
I'm
they
saying-
lose, he's not gonna.
yeah,
say
he's
that.
like,
But that's what I mean is I think they're gonna win, and that's gonna happen.
they better win for their
Thursday
their
night
own-
football too.
What?
Thursday night
Yeah,
football too.
it's coming up.
That's the first good Thursday night game of the year.
I know. It's been like Jets, Denver. Like, why do I want to watch that?
Oh my god, yeah, no, that's gonna be the. I mean, what was it? Houston and KC to kick the season off, and then after that.
And then after that, it's like gone.
yeah, and Houston sucks. So
I mean, still football. I'm gonna watch Thursday night football regardless.
duh. But this is gonna be a great game, and I agree. I think the Seahawks come out. If the Cardinals win this game,
I have the Seahawks winning as well, only because this is a game they need to win. They
Hungry.
have to win this game.
hungry. That's the only thing I can say.
Imagine if, like, so you say the Bucks are going to win too. Imagine if the Rams and Seattle both lose. That, like, the Cardinals win that division.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah. Well,
And,
they don't
like,
win the division, but they're very. They have a
They're
good
like
lead.
they've got a good lead.
Yeah, it's like this. Well, it's not like the Steelers lead, but it's like having.
It's kind well, yeah. I was about to say it is, but it's not.
No, the Steelers have a 3-game lead
9-0.
on you guys.
Yeah, but still, right? That's like mentally, it's like that,
yeah, it's like that's a big gap,
especially against those teams.
especially with a head-to-head lead, 2-game win against the Seahawks.
if they go
that's
2-0
huge.
against Seattle this year.
They win. You're right.
Oh my god.
But I think Seattle.
Yeah,
wins this
Seattle's
game.
coming back
They
and
split this
fighting.
division.
Otherwise, there's some people on that Seattle defense who are not going to be keeping their jobs.
Some, most, legit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, that.
And like I think Seattle also stands a chance because they have a decent run defense. I was mentioning this before, and it's not like incredible, but it's not nearly as bad as their passing defense. And Cardinals are a rushing team, believe it
I think
or
it's
not.
attributed mainly to because, like we said this last week.
Well, yeah,
they
because
get
people
passed on
pass
so
on.
much.
But like still, I think that I would like to say that the Seahawks front seven are better than their DBs.
which is incredible. Well, that's because Jamal Adams.
It's easier to play in the trenches when there's not as much attention on you.
Also true, but
they get no pass rush. That's
Jamal-
a reason why their secondary is so bad.
Yeah.
Because they have no help up front. The reason why the Steelers secondary looks as good as it does, because we don't have amazing DBs.
No.
Micah Fitzpatrick, yes.
Everyone
Joe
else
Hayden's
is like
a little old, and
Yeah.
Steven Nelson's a decent number 2, but there's so much pressure on the quarterback that they're like, I mean, I just have to cover for 4 seconds.
And like Seattle doesn't have that kind of pressure.
Not at all.
Like Jamal Adams, yeah, like he's a phenomenal pressure, but like that's
He's a
about
safety.
It. Yeah, he's a safety. He should be playing in the safety position, and he wasn't on the Jets. They were just like pressure.
And he went to Seattle thinking he was going to get a Super Bowl. And he has Bobby Wagner. They have Bobby Wagner too. We don't even say his name.
I completely forgot
you
that
heard his
Bobby
name
Wagner
this year?
existed. Yeah,
Yeah.
I completely forgot he existed.
Getting a little old,
He is.
just like Luke Kuechly was.
He's like what,
Luke
29,
Kuechly.
30?
Yeah, right around there. But it's kind of hard when, I mean, dude, he was on the most physical defense we've ever seen.
Oh yeah, I'm
Like-
sure that wore him out a lot.
Yeah. Those years were hard on him, I bet. Because he was there, he had 140 tackles a year. It's like Ray Lewis stuff. Not exactly Ray Lewis, obviously, because no one ever will be, but it's
Yeah.
Ray Lewis stuff.
Yeah.
140 tackles a year. Ray Lewis got 200, but
That aggressiveness.
but
It's like
I think Seahawks edge it out.
I do too. I think they just barely do.
34 to 31, just like the Dolphins.
I think it's lower. I think it's a lot lower than that. I think it's like, yeah.
Really.
I think it's lower. I think it's. I'm only just. It should be a high scoring game, but I think it'll be lower because both these defenses know they have to play well.
No.
I think both these defenses are like, if we don't play well, we lose the game.
Yeah.
Right? They're looking at this game because both offenses can perform.
You know what I think?
Both offenses can
I think
easily
both
perform.
quarterbacks are both like, all right, this is my day. I think they both go in like, all right, this is my time. So.
Exactly. Both quarterbacks are like, and if I'm in either team's locker room, I'm looking at that defense.
whatever
like, you guys better
whatever
perform.
quarterback wins is the one that remains in the MVP race.
Yes, agreed.
So yeah.
I think Kyler Murray has a better chance of bouncing back than
Russell
does.
Wilson did. Yeah. If he were to lose, then Russ is really out.
Really out. But if Kyler Murray does, he just has to win the rest of the season.
and Russell Wilson cannot turn the ball over.
Yeah,
Let's be very clear.
he cannot.
He has
once.
to stop. Well, he can once, but he can't do that.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Like everyone has stupid tip balls.
Well, I mean, like
Yeah.
Pat Mahomes has 1 turnover all season.
But that's the best quarterback in the NFL. So Russ is supposed to be, but whatever. All right, that's all from us this week, guys. Tune in next week for more. We'll leave some comments down
Sounds
below. Peace.